Hello guys and welcome to a new episode of today's football show. As today we're going to talk about yesterday's a combined of 61 goals in all Champions League games yesterday, as obviously it was all 18 games of the Champions League last night, and boy, it really delivered all the games. We're going to go through by them, of course, and game by game, so step by step. I'm not going to rush too much, so don't worry guys. But let's get started. Let's start with the first game, Athletic Bilbao against Sporting Lisbon. Sporting Lisbon win 3-2. As for some periods of the game, it was 2-2, and Athletic Bilbao looked like they were out of the Champions League because they needed to win to get into the playoffs. Where Sporting needed to win to actually qualify for the last 16 automatically, and Sporting did it. They won the game. Congratulations, they are through to the last 16 automatically. So well done to Sporting Lisbon. And they go through to the next last 16. Liverpool won 6-0 against Karabakh, a very comfortable win for Arne Slot's side. 2 goals from Alexis McAllister, Verts, who's been in good form recently, Salah back in the score sheet, Ekiti, Chiesa. It was a good night for Liverpool this time around, and they win 6-0, and they qualify for the last 16 automatically by finishing, I think it was the third, yeah, so yeah, well done to Liverpool. Barcelona beat Copenhagen 4-1. They also qualified for the last 16 automatically by finishing 5th. I mean, Barcelona, they were 1-0 down, and you think like, okay, could this be another Slavia Prague moment here? But Barcelona, they come back in the second half. They got obviously all the attackers scored for them, the likes of Lewandowski, Yamal, Rafinha, and Rashford as well, who came off the bench and scored instead of, I think it was Lewandowski, yeah. So very comfortable win for Barcelona in the end. They didn't make it easy for them in the first half, but they managed to come back and they win 4-1, and they go through to the last 16 automatically. Let's move to the next game. Monaco against Juventus ended a 0-0 draw. Juventus qualified for the playoffs, and so was Monaco. Olympiacos win 2-1 against Ajax, and that means Olympiacos qualify for the playoffs as well. Paris Saint-Germain against Newcastle United ended a 1-1 draw between these two. Paris Saint-Germain, I mean, in the first 10, 15 minutes, or the way they start the game, first 20-25 minutes, I thought they were fantastic. Start the game really well, a goal from Vitinha, and I thought like, okay, but PSG should go on and win the game here, considering how well they played the game, how well they started. However, you have to give credit to Newcastle because they improved. It's not like they were static, and especially they didn't know what to do when PSG went all down. And they managed to come back. They managed to give PSG a good fight. However, they needed to win to qualify for the last 16 automatically. So even a draw away to PSG was not enough. And they played well, and they managed to get a goal before halftime from Joe Willock. Joe Willock. Playing in the Champions League against scoring against PSG, Joe Willock. But yeah, anyway, and it was 1-1 draw. And then the second half, like, I have to say, I was a bit disappointed in PSG's performance because the first half I thought they played quite well, but in the second half I thought they were. I didn't create many big chances. I thought Dembele had a poor game in my opinion. Like, it wasn't the PSG that we saw last season. So yeah, but PSG needed to win to qualify for the last 16 automatically. They didn't. They're going to play in the playoffs, and so is Newcastle United. Listen, is this PSG team as same as last season? Have they dropped off from last season? It's difficult to say because, last season they were also in a similar situation where they qualified for the playoffs, and they were not having the best starts of the season in Champions League particularly, and they managed to come back once they found their rhythm, and they created a good chemistry between the players and the team, like Vitinha, etc., and they made a great run to the Champions League by winning the Champions League, and they were fantastic after that. Can they do that again? If PSG are at their best and they can find their rhythm, like similar they did last season, then I have no doubt that they're the favourites. If not, then they are for sure beatable. So yeah, but let's see, because sometimes we see these kind of teams where they don't do well at the start of the season in the Champions League, when they've won Champions Leagues in the past, where they don't well at the start of the season, but then towards the end of the season they click. PSG did it last season. I remember Manchester City in 2023. they were not having the best start of the season, and then once they found their feet in the last 3-4 months, they hit their peak. So it's about how you finish, it's not how you start. So yeah, but a missed opportunity for PSG to qualify for the last 16 automatically. That's for sure, considering they were 1-0 up against Newcastle. Inter Milan, they go through to the playoffs by beating Dortmund 2-0. Good win for Chiva's side. Chelsea beat Napoli 3-2. Napoli go out of the Champions League. They're eliminated. Chelsea, however, go qualify for the last 16 automatically, and very good win for Chelsea. Considering they were behind, they were 2-1 down, because let's not forget, in the first half, I thought like Napoli were better, in my opinion, than Chelsea in the first half, and defensively sometimes Chelsea was shaky, and Napoli were playing quite good, even though they went 1-0 down to a penalty to Enzo Fernandez. They scored 2 goals from Vergara and Højlund. Napoli winning 2-1, but then you have to give credit to Chelsea because they come back, and clearly Liam Rossini said to them at half time, because I think Chelsea, like one of the Chelsea problems that they have this season, even under Maresca, where they play good attacking football, they can attack, and going forward they're very good to watch, but defensively they can be suspect at times. So, but yeah, very good win for Chelsea. And considering under Rossini they've been winning some games, it's not like they've been losing games. They've been winning some games. Maybe it's a kind of a managerial bounce thing, a new manager bounce thing. And it's a good win, especially away to Napoli, Italian champions. It's not easy. A good team like Napoli. So except that the loss against Arsenal, where they had a lot of things going against them, they've won the other games as well. So, and they last 16 Champions League, still in FA Cup, still in the fight for the top 4, and the Carabao Cup. I doubted they're going to qualify to the final, but who knows? So they've been winning some games under Liam Rossini, and they've been good to watch in terms of going forward, in terms of playing football. So if Chelsea can keep it up and they finish the season strong, there's no doubt they will finish in the top 4. There's no doubt they can win the FA Cup, and there's no doubt that they can even go in a run in the Champions League, a good run in the Champions League, because we've seen Chelsea do things in the past that you wouldn't expect in the Champions League. So but very good win for Chelsea, and well done to Liam Rossini. For Napoli, I mean, like Napoli, obviously they've not had the best season. They won the Italian Super Cup, but if you look at the league, they have a long way to go to catch Inter. Napoli, they got knocked out of the Champions League. I mean, Antonio Conte is a fantastic manager. He's a phenomenal manager. He's, domestically he's one of the best. But in Europe, as I said before, his record is very poor. It's very, very poor. Why is that? Does Antonio Conte rely on, let's say, does Antonio Conte rely on let's say, helping his team, getting his team prepared when they have a full week to prepare and there's no European games in between to disturb? There's a question mark, because Conte did well at that Chelsea and Inter when he won the leagues, but when there were seasons where he had to play Champions League football in between, Napoli, he didn't deal with it. Even at Inter as well, where he won the Scudetto, but I remember that the season he won Scudetto, they went out of the group stages and they finished bottom, I think. And then they had a full week to prepare after that, and they managed to win the Scudetto after that. So does having Champions League in between disturb Antonio Conte's preparations, or? But for a fantastic coach like Antonio Conte, he should able to adapt with it. So, and his record in Champions League has not been that great. It's been terrible. I have to say, with the teams he's managed, with the players he had, it's not great. So I don't know why. But yeah, for sure not a great, not a great way that not a way that Antonio Conte would have liked to end in the Champions League, because I thought Napoli, with considering the players they have like McTominay, De Bruyne before he picked up that injury, I thought Napoli could do something in the Champions League, but yeah, clearly not great. His record, like I said, his record in Champions League he's been very poor. Why is that? I don't know. Is it like I said, is it because having Champions League in between disturbs his preparations for a game in a week or something? I don't know. But as a manager, a top coach like Conte, he should adapt with it. And clearly, with his record, he hasn't done that. So yeah. Let's move on to the other games. Eintracht Frankfurt against Tottenham. Tottenham went 2-0. They finished fourth, and Tottenham qualified for the last 16 automatically. Frankfurt obviously they struggled in Champions League this season, and also in the league. It was a very good win for Tottenham Hotspur. 2 goals from Kolomwani, Solanke, clean sheet as well, and they played really well. I don't think Frankfurt had many chances in that game. So I don't why Tottenham play well in Champions League but in the league they're rubbish. I don't know why, but and people say they've the reason why they qualified for the last 16 automatically and they finished in the top 8 is because they had easy fixtures. They had to play against the European champions away from home. I wouldn't call that easy. They had to play also. Who was they had to play? They had to play Villarreal, who are doing incredibly well in La Liga. Bodo Glimt away, and we all know how difficult of a side Bodo Glimt have shown, especially against Man City and Atletico. They played against Copenhagen, okay. Monaco, yeah, okay. Slavia Prague, okay. Dortmund, a good side, but they went down to 10 men. So let's say some of the games that Tottenham have played have become from against teams who are, let's say, soft. But to say that all the games they played were easy, no, they played Paris Saint-Germain, they played Villarreal, who were a good side, Bodo Glimt, who can cause problems. So I won't call all of them easy. But the problem is why Tottenham are doing well in Champions League but in the league they're terrible. I don't know why. Is it because of the physicality of the Premier League? That's why you see teams like Tottenham, Liverpool, Chelsea, who haven't been that great this season in the Premier League and they do well in Champions League. Is it because of the physicality of the Premier League? Is it because of the difference in style of football, as Anthony Gordon mentioned it? What is it? I would love to know, because is it because, let's say, the Premier League is more playing football style is more complicated because of the change in set pieces and throw-ins? So yeah, this is very interesting. But I think, obviously this win settles the pressure down of Thomas Frank, because in the league they've been absolutely woeful, but in the Champions League they've been good and they are through to the last 16 automatically. So you have to give credit for that for Thomas Frank. Atletico Madrid against Bodo Glimt. Bodo Glimt win 2-1 against Atletico Madrid. I mentioned them, and to come back. How many teams go to Atletico Madrid and win in the Champions League? Not many teams. And the fact that Bodo Glimt did it when they were 1-0 down is incredible. Very good win for Bodo Glimt. They qualified for the playoffs. So congratulations. And they are a good team. They've been in this journey for how many years now, where they're an underdog team coming in Europe, trying to challenge with the big boys. And I remember once, like I said, they once beat Roma 6-1 in the Conference League, and they're a good team. They reached the Europa League semi-final last season. They're a very good team. So for them to qualify for the playoffs is the trademark or the true piece of the puzzle of the true rise of the last 3 years. So well done to Bodo Glimt, congratulations. Leverkusen beat Villarreal 3-0. Very good win for Leverkusen. I think they qualified for the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. There's so many teams, so I'm trying to remember. Yeah, they qualified for the playoffs. So whereas Villarreal, they got knocked out of the Champions League automatically. They didn't win even a single game, which is strange considering how well they've done in the La Liga this season. Arsenal beat Cairo 3-2. Arsenal win all their games in the Champions League and they finish first, so well done to them for that. To win all of your games takes something, especially in this difficult schedule. Buffers beat Slavia Prague 4-1. Manchester City beat Galatasaray 2-0. Goals from Erling Haaland and Ryan Cherky. Manchester City qualified for the last 16 automatically. They finished 8th. I'm pretty sure there was some City fans a bit